Hello everyone, I'm Xiaogang. In the previous two lessons, we talked about this method of reading and writing through UE5 by using the factory to steal the underlying layer. I wonder if you have mastered it. Then in this lesson, we will mainly introduce one of the more troublesome writing methods. You don't need to master this writing method for now, because we're expanding on it for scenarios you might encounter in actual development. Actually, okay, let's come here. Come to our place. We give it a message, and then for this message we give it a bent message. This message is a bit more troublesome to write. Then we open it. This bent message is actually the same. Then we delete the things after this. Let's not make it too complicated, because this writing method itself is already very complicated. And note this data here. We can keep it or not keep it. Let's just keep it. Let's delete it. Let's avoid duplication. We'll ignore this side. Then this info here, we need to change this writing style. We wrote this info like this. And it's like this. It's like this. Yes, it's like this. Then delete this. Okay, the compiler might not let us pass here, right? We might need to handle it like this. Okay, good. You'll see that this info is actually an object. But it's actually also a kind of, how should I solve this for you? It's like it's hosted and it wraps another JSON stream. So how should we write and parse this kind of thing? So let's write it here for everyone. So we'll put this here. Let's go one by one, so it's easier for everyone to follow. Let's call it, this should be our server info. This struct, we call it band message info. Then, this one isn't bad. It is 4. Why does this kind of thing appear? Actually, the most common reason is that many backends, scientific training designed it this way because their outer layer, this architecture, we'll probably explain it to you later, distributed server architecture. He hopes that his outer interface all goes through one interface, right? Then his underlying info actually has a second layer. This second layer is the actual business logic. Then this first layer is just an external access point, similar to a gateway function that is all message entry points. All have this format. That is, its info might look like this. So for example, if we write another info for everyone, this part can, that is, when you access Xiaogang service, it accesses 7lam or derivation. Then the XGC service you accessed, the field it might return. New attributes were added later, but the field it ultimately presents externally all look the same. So this kind of scenario appears like this. Okay, alright, so let's call the previous one. Outside we'll use, this way we can align it for everyone. The reason it wasn't aligned before is because I need to make a simple distinction for everyone. Alright, here we give an info. Okay, then regarding the structure of this info here, we'll just clean it up for everyone like this. How do we write it for everyone? Video or to stream? We'll still write it outside. Write it outside. We didn't write it inside because structs often, to ensure readability, we won't write too many methods for it. Okay. Obviously, how should we write this stuff? We'll go back to our previous writing style. First of all, we need to create a write stream. Right. Here, let's flip this over, because this section is too long. Okay, first we need to declare such a struct. Let's make it a bit smaller. Okay, let's do it this way. Hey, doesn't it start with F? It doesn't start with F. Let's add the F prefix. So here it doesn't start with F. We need an F prefix. We'll also prepare the solid zinc here. Here we are creating such a right string, and if it doesn't start with FE, let's just skip 5. This part is missing. We all just need to know. Okay. Then you'll see it like this. You take the properties inside. We need to do a simple copy of it. We just set it to 0 if we deduct it. This message we give it. This is my badass. Here we give it a side. Give it 12, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Now we need to... This section inside, this diameter is copied. Our team uses a server lamp or serveration. So actually we can do this. Mine just popped off. We prepare something called info SD. Let's first give it an empty child. Then we use this. We have this here. We can write this as a perspective mirror. This is fine. We can use this. We'll use this. We make this a perspective mirror. We don't really care about the information inside. It should be called my info. Okay, then we set this info. str equal to this. Toaststream. Okay. Good. So here we can understand it as this is its second layer business, and at this point we need to serialize it. Right, delegate, and this part is a bit tricky. So for the serialization here, we'll paste the code from here. Actually, not pasting is also fine. Just give it a bend. Let's just start directly. Write object start. Right. Object and okay. Actually, here we only need to write 4 attributes. Right, let's paste it over. Otherwise, this code looks a bit... Okay, it's this part. This part. After pasting it over, we need to fill in the attributes inside. And this information actually uses this. I think here it's code message. Said this is info, right? We are using info here. This part is the service information. We are taking a shortcut here. We just use this to pass the entire previous information as a transfer. So in this part, we are using it. Okay, the info here doesn't need to be written like this. We can just pass this record directly. Okay, here we give it a code. There's also a code here, right? Isn't that confusing? It is an internal code. We give it a very long internal code. Then we give it a message. That is the secondary service. Message. UAV fee message. Secondary service. Secondary. Secondary service interface. So this is the primary service interface. This is the primary. Because big companies nowadays, they all have this kind of architecture. It's layers upon layers. This way, it's very convenient for them to manage. You can modify your secondary service, but you always follow the specifications defined by the primary service interface. So that's how we complete it. A save like this. Now let's debug it for everyone. Let's serialize this save and take a look. We'll go directly to this breakpoint. Okay, we've hit the breakpoint here. Once we're in, you can see it's all the same here. You can see this JSON. This JSON actually, this info of alls. You can see this info. It actually looks like this. This info is actually a JSON string. It is not a JSON object. It's a string here. Then we come in here. We come in and write. It seems we haven't written it here. We didn't close the stream. So we still can't see it. Let's just close the stream. Sometimes we often miss it. Okay, closed this stream. Let's show everyone again. We still set the endpoint to this position. Okay, we've already come in here. We put it over there. Then we can see this layer. It actually looks like this, right? It looks a bit convoluted, doesn't it? We put it into our VS. We need to create a new file. This place file. Yeah, let's see if we can call this interface. Hey, you can see this interface looks like this. I think this is very okay. Quite suitable, and this interface is like this. This is the kind of interface design actually used in commercial applications. There is absolutely no problem with it. Then when something like this comes to us, how do we parse it? I will walk you through parsing it. Before continuing with the parsing, let's save this node for everyone. How do we save it? We'll just copy the code above. We give it our node. The input stream is written to this location. Okay, now let's start deserialization. Okay. Here we are omitting this method. We took a shortcut. We'll continue to take the shortcut because if we don't take the shortcut, this code will give everyone another basket of stuff. And it will look very unpleasant. Then we will first copy this string. We give it a bank, and we do the same. We need to create a read stream. As for this read stream, actually, we can copy this piece of code. So there is a frame string. Here there is a read stream and the serialization. Look here. Back. Okay. This is the bank connection. Bank's delivery radar. Then here, the read stream is created here. Then here, deserialization is to read and write this stream. Read this stream, serialize this, which is within the OB system. After successful serialization, we read the properties inside. So with this, we also need such a structure to receive it. We receive it here. We call it bank info. Okay. So how do we receive this structure? Actually, it's quite simple. Here, code directly equals this object. We get this object. Number failed. Then here, give the code. Okay, we have connected this thing 4 times. Now, this corresponds to what we had earlier. So, during development, if we write both the front end and back end ourselves, it is very convenient. Later, we will guide you through writing this fronter and pattern. This part must be message. Here is our info. Let's focus on this. This part must be string. Okay, it's very easy to paste incorrectly here. When I was learning before, I would almost always make a mistake here. If these are pasted incorrectly or with errors, as long as you make a single letter mistake, you won't be able to handle it and it will crash. Okay, then the important point is to use this info. How should this info be used? Obviously, this is the struct, right? We call it bank. Bank info. It directly equals. There is a function we wrote for this. Okay, then here we just pass this info subtitle card in. This way, we can get this info and we can use it on our side into b equals. Let me set a breakpoint to show everyone. Okay. Let me explain this part. We've already entered the breakpoint. Let's just let it go into the section below. We've already stored the local data. Everyone should be fine with this part. No issues here. Here, the tags. There is a bind message info. That's it. We need to serialize it. That is, format it. You can see it looks like this. We haven't changed the values inside, but it shouldn't affect anything. This is 56, 4, 60, 54, right? After we come in, delete this part. we create a read-write stream. Then we can see our information here. It has been read in. This is the first level service interface, and this is its second level service parameter. This is its serialization ID. Then this struct can serve as our second level service. You can see, right, okay, so that concludes this lesson. Okay, the content of this lesson is slightly more commercial oriented because this is how it's used in commercial applications now. Okay,